Hi collaborators. I have a terrible head cold and I should be sleeping, and I'm not very good at taking care of myself, which is sort of ironic. Anyway, I wanted to put together a quick little video for you of a guided meditation that you can use. Some of you might be familiar with Metta meditation, also known as Maitri, which is often translated to mean loving kindness, but I have seen more recently and really appreciate that it is now being translated as just love. This is a meditation of love, and the exact kind of love that we're talking about when we're talking about justice. So it's a very big, all-encompassing love and care. So to begin, it's always good to take a good posture. That's the first step of meditation, is taking your seat, which we also kind of covered in one of the emails. For anyone who's not familiar with meditation posture, there's a few quick tips I'll give, but I highly recommend going and finding just some resources. There's lots online that'll teach you sort of the basics of meditation posture. But some key things are that you should have a comfortable, stable base. So if you're sitting in a chair, as I am right now, you should have your feet flat on the ground. Your hips should be a little bit higher than your knees, rather than your knees higher than your hips. If you're sitting on a cushion, you might be sitting on, have an actual meditation cushion, in which case you probably know about posture. But you can cross your legs, but make sure that they're not crossed in a way where your foot's gonna fall asleep. So again, it's that elevation thing, making sure that your hips are up and your knees are a little bit down. And then you can also sit on a bench or a stool, which is how I usually sit. And in that case, your legs go underneath the stool. And it's all about stability. So however you're sitting, whether you're on the cushion or the bench or the chair, you shouldn't feel like you're leaning forward or leaning backwards or to the side. A note on sitting in a chair is often people say that your back should be away from the back of the chair, and that's fine if you don't have a bad back. If you have a bad back, like I do, the back of the chair actually helps a lot. And that's important to know. This is about knowing your body and what's comfortable, because meditation is not about being stoic and enduring lots of intense pain. So you want to get into a position that will be as comfortable as possible for as long as possible, knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable because you are sitting for a long time without moving. So be aware of that wherever you sit and however you sit. And you don't need to have cushions, and you don't need to have a bench. You can comfortably sit on a chair, on a couch, anything you have in your house, as long as you have a very stable base and it feels solid. That's good. Making sure you're not leaning too much. Your arms, just sort of let them hang by your sides, and then your hands can either be flat on your thighs, or I do this, which is a very traditional Zen thing to do, which is strange because I wasn't trained in Zen, but I do it because it's comfortable. So I just set that in my lap. So again, you don't want to feel like you're holding your shoulders up, or your arms up, and your neck should be in alignment, your whole spine should be in alignment. Best description I've ever heard, and so I use it all the time, is just pretend like there's a piece of string from the tip of your head kind of holding, so your spine should feel nice and straight, not rigid. You're just letting it rest as it would rest. And making sure your chin is a little tucked in. You don't want to be like this. Again, that's leaning forward. You don't want to be leaning back. So again, it's get yourself in a position where you feel like you can sit like that for a while. Eyes. So for the meditation that I'm going to guide you in, the Metta meditation, I close my eyes. That's works best for me. For when I'm doing a very basic mindfulness meditation, my eyes are usually open. That's how I've been trained. Basically, in all other kinds of meditation I do, my eyes are open. I don't know why for Metta. I just feel more comfortable with them closed. It's up to you. Again, it's about what's comfortable and what works for you. You can breathe through your nose or through your mouth. Usually through the nose, though, is what's recommended. And the idea with the mouth is that you keep your mouth sort of, the lips just lightly parted, like this. So you can see it's very, very subtle. And your tongue just kind of lightly touching the roof of your mouth, which helps to keep your jaw relaxed. You shouldn't be like clenching. If you notice at any point that you're clenching, just kind of let it go. Just let it go. Shake it out. So, like I said, you can find very, very detailed instruction on good points of posture for meditation, but this is what we're going to start with. So get comfortable. And metta meditation, as I've learned it, and the reason I call it metta is because I learned it from Sharon Salzberg. So within many traditions, it's called Maitri. Within the insight meditation tradition, they call it metta. Metta is the Pali word for it, and Maitri is the Sanskrit word for it. What you call it doesn't matter. It's the same practice. So there are 4 steps to this practice, and this practice is a heart expanding practice. That is what it is about. And as I guide you through the 4 steps, I'm just giving you instruction. This is kind of, you could like sit and do the meditation, but this isn't like a proper guided meditation. This is me giving you the information. You can try it out and then go meditate. And that's because I meditate better without having someone talk at me. If you want like a full proper guided meditation, again, you can go and look up Metta Meditation guided. There's lots available on YouTube. If you use the Insight Meditation Timer, there's stuff on there too, which is an app, by the way, for those who don't know. So step 1 is beginning with ourselves. Step 2 is moving on to a loved one. Step 3 is moving on to a neutral person. And step 4 is moving on to a difficult person. And then technically it's actually 5 steps, because after that you expand it to everyone. And what we are expanding, what we are doing, is basically setting intentions and offerings. That's how I like to think about it. We are offering love through phrases. So, like I said, I learned from Sharon Salzberg. She's got some pretty core phrases which are based on traditional phrases that are used, but I do believe that she kind of changed the wording a little bit in them. So some phrases are, may I be happy, may I be safe, may I be healthy. So those are just 3 examples. You can come up with ones that work for you as well, that you like. For example, one that I use all the time is, may I have ease of mind. The idea behind whatever the phrase is, though, is that it needs to be something you can offer to all 4 of those, and ultimately everyone. All 4 of those people, but ultimately everyone. So don't be specific. Don't be like, well, you know, when I'm wishing for something for my best friend, may they get the job they want. Don't. If you want to come up with something that maybe fits that you think could be more universalized, may we have stability, something like that. But a good idea is to think of 3 or 4 phrases to start that you like, starting with the 3 traditional ones of may you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy. It's pretty good for beginning, and then you can see what kind of phrases arise for you. So we start with ourselves, and unlike in shamatha meditation, which is like a basic mindfulness meditation, the object of our meditation is not our breath so much as it is the phrases. But you can sort of say the phrases on the breath. And when I say, I mean, this is all in your head. You're not like sitting there whispering. So when you begin, you take your meditation posture, and it can be a good idea to spend 5 to 10 seconds just starting with the breath, just following that and letting that be the object of your meditation. And and then introduce the phrases. And you can introduce them on the breath. We're not rushing anything. We're letting it just come in and out naturally. So we begin with ourselves. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. And the idea when you do this meditation is that you go through those phrases a few times. Again, I mentioned insight meditation, the insight meditation timer that you can get. So that's an app, and you can actually set it up so that it could like signal things. But you can also just time yourself or just go with what feels natural. I like to just go with what feels natural. And I can also sometimes, if you've got mala beads, I'll count out my mala beads. I'll do the phrases for as many mala beads as I have. But this is all for you to like work with and figure out what works. So begin with yourself. But when you're starting, it could be a good idea. It's just 5 minutes for each person. Just see how that goes. So you offer the phrases to yourself. And a thing about this, intention. Intention is really big. Intention, it's what we're doing with love in public, right? There is so much injustice. And so we're setting the intention to create justice. And we're setting intention to create a kind of change that is imaginary in some ways right now. We can only imagine it. So if you're struggling with offering yourself these phrases wholeheartedly, that is okay. I struggled so hard to really think I deserve to be happy, for example. So as you begin, just remember, my intention is that I want this to be true. I really, truly want myself to feel safe, even if I don't think I deserve it, I don't think it's possible, whatever it is, I truly want it. So may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. So then after 5 minutes, you can move on to number 2. Number 2 is a loved one. Often it's the instruction we're told to come up with someone beforehand and to think of somebody who we naturally feel a lot of love for. So when we say that, naturally feel a lot of love for, I like to say it as when you think of that person, your default probably is a sense of like your heart opening. So whoever that could be for you, it might be your partner, it might be your grandparents, it might be a child, it might be a pet. The idea though is that you want to really feel that authentic, genuine feeling of love. And so you bring that person to mind and you offer them the phrases next. May they be happy. May they be safe. May they be healthy. And then we move on to the neutral person. I'm not sure whether or not the video is picking up, but probably is. There's the sound of the garbage truck. I have never met the people who drive the garbage truck in my neighborhood, but I see them every week. They are a neutral person. They are someone whom I don't have strong feelings about either way. And so I could bring them to mind and offer them these phrases. May they be happy. May they be safe. May they be healthy. Whoever that might be for you in your life, maybe it's the driver of your bus, or maybe it's that person that you walk by every day when you're going out to get your lunch. Whoever it is, to the neutral person, offer, may you be happy, may you be safe, may you have ease of mind. And now we come to step 4, the difficult person. Okay, so rule number 1, actually the only rule about this. Do not jump to the most difficult person in your life. Do not jump to the person that you hate. Do not jump to the person who is causing you the most agony, either in your head or actually. When we choose our difficult person, we start small. We start with someone who we might just think of as a bit of a jerk, and we just don't like. They irk us. We're miffed by them. Maybe it's like a family member who gossips, and we just don't really like it. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's an acquaintance who is kind of standoffish sometimes. Just, we don't really like them. We just don't like them. Start with that person. I promise you will be able to stretch and include the more difficult of the difficult people in this category. It will happen. My guidance on that is to let it happen naturally, and it will. I was doing Metta for a year, and I spontaneously thought of someone who had really hurt me and a lot of my friends, and I thought of them and I wished for them to love themselves. That was my wish. May you love yourself. Genuinely, I wanted that for them. And it came spontaneously. Even the phrase for them came spontaneously. I wasn't trying to force anything. So don't force it. Pick someone where it is a challenge. It shouldn't feel very comfortable. Remember, we're trying to expand our hearts here to include everyone, and that includes difficult people. But don't jump to the most difficult person that you can think of first. Start with just the little grievances. But again, you have your difficult person. Bring them to mind. May they be happy. May they be safe. May they be healthy. And in this case, again, you probably won't feel like it's genuine. It might be something that actually, I really don't want them to be happy. It's about the intention. It's about the intention. The intention is you would like to be able to open your heart to them, even if they have caused harm. So bear that in mind when you're doing this, and be gentle with yourself. I've said you could start off doing 5 minutes for each person. Maybe for the difficult person, do 3 minutes and just see. The idea would be that you are always giving equal attention at each stage and equal time at each stage, but you know what your edge is, and so I invite you to meet that edge. Stretch it a little bit. Don't push yourself into trauma. Don't push yourself into rage. That's not helpful to anyone. It's not helpful to anyone. And then the final stage, stage 5, which isn't always talked about. It's like there's 4 stages, and then actually the 5th thing is you just sort of include everybody. But there's a few different ways you could do this. I like to bring all 4 people to mind, myself included in that, right? So for the 5th stage for me, I go, okay, and then difficult, neutral, beloved, and myself, all of us. And then I bring in other people in my spectrum, in my world. I think of, you can do it in a lot of different ways. You can do it like social networks. You can think like, I expand this out to my family, and then from them, like expand out to their communities. Or you could start where you are physically, like geographically. I'm starting in my house, and now I'm expanding out to my neighbors and to my community, and then to encompass the whole city, and then the whole province or state or wherever you are, county, wherever you are in the world. So however you do it, the idea is that you are offering it to all beings. So may all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be healthy. And that's it. That is Metta. So I invite you to play with that for the month of March. Remember to include yourself in it. And remember to appreciate the wonderful things that you are already doing to express love in public.